Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and I'm really excited today because I'm starting a new series called Context Matters. And in this series we'll slow things down and break things apart and understand not just what is happening but also why it's happening. As for the name, it is so because context is one of the things that actually lets us make sense of what is happening, of what we see in the world today, which is flooded with information. So please first take a look at this. As you may have already guessed, our today's topic is the chaos of Indian TV news. I am pretty sure many of you have noticed the difference between our TV news and the foreign TV media. The sirens, the oversized LED walls, the bright red and gold graphics, the host practically shouting at the audience, and the constant reminder that you must not miss out. It has become more of a performance than information. And this isn't a casual complaint, because when we analyze this through communication theory, we see a clear pattern. Indian news has gradually shifted from public service model to what media scholars call the attention economy, where the product is not the information but the viewer engagement measured in seconds. The design choices we see on television are not an accident that just happened, they are strategies built to hijack your attention. And to understand this shift, it's important to look back at the Doordarshan era. What you just saw was the introduction to the DD in its old time. DD was obviously not perfect. It was state controlled and operated under strict editorial boundaries, but the presentation style was calm, minimal, and predictable. The anchor sat, delivered the news, and left. There were no theatrics. The power of that format was that the viewer's cognitive load was very low. They could very easily focus on the message and not the medium. In today's environment, though, the medium overwhelms the message. This reflects what Neil Portman warned about decades ago. In his book, Amusing Ourselves to Death, he argued that when the news began to adopt the language of entertainment, the information becomes secondary. If Postman saw our studios today with motion graphics flying at the audience and debates staged like boxing matches, he'd probably say we've exceeded even his expectations and his predictions. So, let me illustrate a simple situation to you. Imagine a young viewer like me, maybe 19 or 20, turning on the TV to understand the policy that is going to be announced. Instead of a breakdown of the policy, he actually sees the screen erupts into breaking news templates larger than the actual headline. Three commentators speak at the same time. A ticker, a ticker run below with unrelated sensational text. On the right, a countdown graphic announces another exclusive debate. For that viewer, this is not news, this is noise, and many young people simply choose to opt out. The communication scholar Stuart Hall explained the idea of encoding and decoding. The media encodes a message in its particular way, assuming that the audience will decode in its way intended. But what we are seeing now is a decoding crisis, because the message disappears behind the presentation. Instead of being informed, viewer feels overwhelmed. So they Some argue that this chaotic style simply reflects Indian society, which is diverse, noisy, and fast moving. But that explanation is incomplete. What we see on news is not cultural expression, it is commercial strategy. The chaos is engineered, not inherited. The goal is to amplify urgency at all time because urgency keeps people watching. Let's think of when this becomes the norm, the distinction between genuine crisis and manufactured urgency collapses. Audiences lose trust not because they dislike the news but because they cannot rely on the medium to guide them honestly. If Indian news wants younger viewers back, it needs to evolve. And I am not saying that they have to copy foreign models, and obviously not by returning to the silence of DD era, but by adopting the ethics of clarity. If Indian news wants younger viewers back, it needs to evolve. And I am not saying that they have to copy foreign models, and obviously not by returning to the silence of DD era, but by adopting the ethics of clarity. Stripping away unnecessary gimmicks and prioritizing explanation over excitement. And the end, the crisis of Indian TV news is not just about aesthetics, it's about purpose. Is the goal to inform the citizen or entertain the viewer? It's not their job to entertain us. As long as the industry rewards noise over nuance, we will continue to see this widening gap between media and people it claims to serve. That's all for today's episode of Context Matters. If this helped you look at the news a little differently, please do let me know. Thank you for watching.